All right, greetings, greetings, greetings. We are rolling high. This is you, Pisces, and this is from Tarot Luminnation. It is your February 2019 mini generic love and relationship report. Please watch for your sun, moon, and rising. You know the drill. A lot of you have done this before. So I'm just going to help you guys. I hope this helps while we shuffle. So I'm going to leave this here. Okay. I don't know how well you can see it. You know what? I'm going to put a tissue box under there, see if that helps. How's that? Oh, cool. All right, so I'm going to shuffle over to the side here while I'm chatting away, trying to get you warmed up. So we're going to use the Tarot Luminnation trademark crucible spread here, okay? So you look to the left, that's you. Look to the right, that's the other. The little squares are the cards. Deep in the heart of soul of you, deep in the heart of the other, and the third entity itself, which is the relationship. Okay? There is a third thing. It has a life and a mission, and a purpose, and an energy of its own. It's like a little plant, a garden, like a business that you guys own. So what is the nature of that thing? Now, a crucible here, this thing, this is a bowl that is designed to withstand intense pressures as we integrate and separate in very natural ways in the context of love and relationship, or not. A lot of folks, we just operate, this way, okay? But there's so much more going on, and luckily you're at the right place to find that out. So we're going to deal with it. Let's just get on with it, okay? I'll just get on with it. Oh, there's the tissue box. There we go. Thank you. So we'll set that aside and see how things go. Cards were already well shuffled in advance, but I'd like to go to the last second so that you're a witness, and then we'll go for it. Now, I'm not going to explain all the rationale behind doing sun, moon, and rising, especially if they're all different, because that will access the different aspects of your most prominent nature. Some people even watch their Venus sign, if you know what that is, in love and relationship. Okay, so here we go. Let's just dive right in. And thank you so much, by the way, for choosing Tarot Luminnation. You know the kind of routine. Check out all the links below for all the other stuff that we do. Subscribe, like, comment. All those things are incredibly important to keep Tarot Luminnation going. And of course, membership. Very, very important. Very, very valuable part of Tarot Luminnation going forward now. Okay, so please check out the links below. All right, here we go. Cards are well shuffled. Bless this deck, this sacred deck which has done thousands of readings. Bless every single card. Bless you, Pisces. Bless Tarot Luminnation. Bless the cameras, the YouTube, the channel, the technology, the internet, the electricity, all of it. Over here is you. What are you radiating? Think of yourself like a phone. You're always transmitting energy and receiving energy. What about the other? What are they doing? What about deep in the soul of you? Heart and soul. Deep in the heart and soul of the other. And deep over here at the core, the relationship itself. What's that looking like? Now, does this make sense? Can you see the cards? 2, 3, 2, 2. We'll keep going here. And over here, what is being generated? If you think of it like a plant or a garden, okay? What is the nature of your crucible? Can this crucible withstand the intense pressures of your relationship? Are you aware of the crucible? Are you investing? Are you conducting yourself through the crucible in a very loving, healthy way as we intimate and separate, like we all do, okay? You can't live like this forever in a relationship. You can't live like this forever in a relationship. Okay, we're always intimating and separating. And we are influenced by external conditions as well. I think of it as the weather. So let's get started. We have the King of Swords. A couple of things just popped up instantly. My feeling, Pisces, is that it might be a good idea to get professional help. Okay, I know it sounds crazy. I'm not trying to hustle you for a personal reading, but in a way I am. But it's about seeing things from a very, very clear, unbiased, unambiguous, truthful perspective. And why is that so? I'll just give you a quick glimpse before I forget, because I'm not really going to linger on the Astro Doodles. There is a whole other playlist, all right? So please check that out for the Astro Doodles. But for now, I'm just going to mention Pisces is over here, all right? And you have Neptune, I haven't even marked it here, but you have Neptune right in the middle over here, 14 degrees, like maximum power. So in some ways it makes you very diffuse and beautiful, and all this so at the same time almost impossible to understand for some people. That's the nature of Neptune anyway, the beauty and the divinity, and at the same time the complete uh, like nebulous, incomprehensible nature. So that's there with you right now, okay? As always, and it's going to be there for years to come, okay? So we're at a point right now, perhaps maybe why we're seeing this, where it might be an idea to get some really clear, honest perspective from somebody or something or whatever who knows about these matters and is willing to stand there, be there for you, okay? I'm seeing this as external energy. I'm not allocating this as a person. I'm not saying this is a guy with cool blue clothes and fancy hair and he's a Sagittarius and he's coming after you. I'm not going to do that, okay? There's other stuff going on here. So I think it's important for you to seriously get your bearings, okay? We're coming up to that, especially towards the end of the month. Right now it's February. So for a lot of Pisceans, that would be your 12th house, okay? The house of self-undoing, the house of sleep and rest, and where everything kind of crumbles and falls apart and dies before it gets born again into the new Piscean energy late in the month, okay? So for now, you might be going through that phase that every sign goes through when the energy passes through the 12th house. So what are you radiating here? Okay. Knight of Pentacles. Well, I'm glad to see that you have the very, very best of intentions and that you are actually, like, I like to use the word spiritual laziness. This is the exact opposite of spiritual laziness. This is the energy of you doing what you have to do in a very, very conscientious, thoughtful ways that are evidence of love. When I see pentacles, I see that as evidence of love, where you are finding and learning ways to conduct yourself, where you are deliberately pulling yourself out of the wars of life, out of the conflicts, and taking a very, very grounded, sort of stable look at love and relationship, but mostly like taking responsibility for it so that you are not living at the mercy of the Neptunian energy, which can be so beautiful, but can also be so diffuse. It's so easy to get lost. So my feeling is that you're doing a really, really good job of holding your ground, creating stability, and investing more and more and more into what you know works. Okay, evidence of love. Luminnation, love is as love does. And going deeper, love is the willing, deliberate, conscious decision to go above and beyond your comfort zone, doing the work, the hard labor, putting in all the time in order to foster and nurture your own best loving version of yourself, which is the best thing you can do for another, which is the best thing that you can do for a relationship. I see this as very good energy to have here. Okay, and so let's have a look. What are they radiating over here? So with the star card, my feeling here is that I felt a double duty message almost instantly, where there's a part of them that feels very, very insecure, and to the point where they have to actually tune into the energy of being guided and protected, okay? Hoping for things to be and work in such a ways that are actually viable and tenable in what would be considered a relationship. Now, if you want, if you're single, you can still read this if you want, because you allow for the laws of attraction. You're always radiating energy. And then what would you attract back to you, like as if, or like what if, like what's out there? I'm not going to sit here saying like, oh, in 3 months you're going to get so and so, and 2 months you're going to like, why do you need to get this or that coming at you? It's all comes out from what is it you are radiating. So you have to be very conscious of what you are transmitting, because ultimately with the laws of attraction, bam, guess what happens? You kind of get what you deserve, for better or worse. So I feel this is very good. So you might be attracting someone who might really, really need that. They might see you as a guide, as a protector. They might see the relationship as guidance, as protection. They might be reaching out for guidance and protection in the context of relationship, because they might feel very, very lost. For the other party over here, let's just flip this around. I'm going to flip this around completely. If they are represented over here and you are the Piscean living over here with the Neptune at Pisces right over here, they might be very divinely attracted to you, but it could also be very intangible in ways that they can't understand. So they might have to reach out to heaven, their angels, for guidance and protection anyway, because of the intangibility of you, the intangibility of the relationship. No matter how much good old-fashioned three-dimensional tangibility you are working at to infuse into the relationship by creating that and offering that from yourself to begin. It's very beautiful energy over here, but I'm seeing it in multiple facets, okay? Multiple variations of that energy. I'm not going to say it's one thing. Oh, they're desperate, they need help, or they are your guiding light, okay? Now, you can see that if you want, but I'm not seeing it particularly. Okay, let's go deep inside of you, okay? With the Four of Swords here, my feeling is that you're almost kind of at a breaking point where it looks to me like you've been putting so much work in over the last year, because remember, we're coming up to the very end of your annual cycle. Okay, we're going to be coming into Pisces energy soon just for you. And just before that, typically in the few weeks beforehand, 4 to 5 weeks beforehand, that's when you go through the 12th house sector over here, where things can really feel like, it's like the end. It's like the end of an era, a year-long era. So you might be wishing deep down inside, my gosh, I wish I could take a break. I wish I could just literally not feel I have to keep, like, let's say, either being the guide or putting in all the work and or carrying all the work of relationship. I think it's time to have a sense of like rest and repairs and respite. And so this, to me, resonates very closely with the 12th house energy of needing rest and repairs deep down inside, deep down inside, which means deliberately having to withdraw and accept that sometimes very sinking, sad feeling that people get when they have to sequester themselves from a situation and deliberately put themselves into a cocoon of privacy and self-healing in order to endure, in order to allow the history of the last year dissolve, in order for the fertilizer to be transformed, and you can begin the new thing again in March, in true Pisces season. Also, with the Four of Swords here, my feeling is that that this has to happen, that there's only so much that you can do in a relationship, and then sometimes you have to step back and do the honorable thing and let the relationship live itself, let them be who they are, let the relationship start to define itself and show its true colors. Sometimes the only way you can do that is to withdraw and just live and let things be. Just be loving, be loved, be loving, and be loved, but love thyself first. That would be the first action here. Over here, what about inside them? Okay. Another big card here. So my feeling is that there's something going on with the significant other here, or a potential other, where my feeling is that they're kind of out of their depth, either with themselves or with you or the relationship, and they don't know what to go or where to do or how to find help or guidance. And I think this is where this comes in. So if you, Pisces, are sensing like, because you are so empathic, you might be picking up or absorbing the energy of their, let's say, limitations in relationship. And then it becomes like it's your own. And then you start thinking like, why am I such a failure? I'm putting in all this work. Why am I having so much pain and suffering in the relationship? As though they were you. Okay, that's a real problem that happens in relationships, especially if you're super empathic, like a super high frequency Pisces or a Cancerian combo or a Scorpio combo or something like that, or a Virgo combo, Capricorn combo, something like that, which makes you very, very absorbent. So over here with the Hermit on their side, my feeling is that deep down, they are struggling with the idea that they have to be themselves in this relationship, as opposed to what they thought might have happened or what could be happening in a relationship dynamic where people get into a relationship, they start all lovey-dovey, and then as the relationship evolves over time, they realize other things about themselves and each other which may not be so pretty. It's not so much fun. Most people, all they want is the benefits of the relationship. They don't want to deal with any of the hard stuff. They just want, gimme, gimme, gimme the good stuff. That's all I want. And then when that's not happening, leave me alone or leave me alone. And that's kind of not fair because in the end, in a really truly loving relationship, it requires having to accept and receive each other in the very best and the very worst of ourselves and each other. And they might be struggling in that way. They might not want to go deep in and do the deep soul searching, do the hard work to be who they are. They might prefer to just, like, let's say, disseminate all of that stuff, outsource their life, outsource their energy, as though life happens to them as opposed to themselves living their life. And you, being the Pisces, would absorb their, let's say, so not, I don't mean to be rude, but their dysfunction here, and making it very hard for you to continue to be the most noble self that you would like to be. So I see this as very, I mean, they're beautiful cards in their own right, but I see this as very difficult energy for you, the Piscean, to handle and to carry. So that's my perception on it. But there is, there is hope, but I feel that the hope, it's almost like a situation. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but you might need relationship counseling. You might need some kind of third-party professional, like what do they call it, an intervention or something like that. When I see the King of Swords here, in order to get your own bearings right. I mean, you got to honor and protect and guide yourself. Okay. It's not your job to be them, okay? They have to be them, you have to be you, okay? And that constitutes a really loving relationship where you get to be you, they get to be themselves, and you do all that, you live all that in the context of a loving relationship. You invest, and you grow this thing like a pot plant. Excuse me, like a potted plant. I didn't mean to say that. Sorry. Oops. So what's going on here at the core? Beautiful. Okay, we got the Empress here. So my feeling is that no matter how much they may be struggling in their own way, shape, or form, no matter how, what I would see, little sense of direction or guidance and minimal willingness to go deep to do what has to be done, nevertheless, there is something of substance here which needs to be honored. Okay, and I see that over here in the Empress, and that might be simply because you're being extremely kind and extremely compassionate, Pisces, probably more than a lot of people would do in certain situations. So what I'm sensing here is that the relationship is showing the characteristics of something, in some ways, no matter Tarot Lumination's interpretation of these cards over here, with the Empress over here, and referring back to this, I would see this as something really luscious. There's something really luscious fermenting going on here in some way, shape, or form between yourself and the other. And perhaps it's early days. Perhaps it's like at the composting phase. Think of the 12th house, okay? And then starting in the Pisces season next month, this might start to germinate and you can actually start to see things blossoming in ways that work. Now, will that be with this particular significant other? I'm not sure, but it is in the context of relationship. This is not a couple's reading, by the way. This is all about you, and we're allowing for the presence of a significant other over here, or a potential significant other. All right, so let's see what's happening over here. Okay. So to me, this looks like confounding and confusing. In other words, if you are convinced, or the relationship has certain hallmarks of being very worthy, beautiful, substantial, it has a lot of ingredients of fertility that would give, hallmarks of wanting to continue, having something of substance that's worth continuing for you to invest further and further. That's great, but with their energy over here, the way Illumination understands it, it actually puts you in a very confounding situation where it's almost like you have to trust yourself into the great beyond, let's say almost to the nature of fates, where, like, because these are such big cards over here, and they're a little bit more impersonal the way I'm reading them right now. So it puts you in a situation where there's you and there's the other, and you're just being you. And you are standing by your faith, your belief in yourself, your own private integrity. All of this is which is being reflected back to you. And you're seeing the beauty of the relationship. You're seeing the beauty of yourself. You're seeing the potential beauty of the other in the relationship. And that's great. So you're coming at it from a very, let's say, refined, divine perspective. But in reality, I feel like in reality, it's actually very hard to understand this. Like, what does it actually mean? That puts you in a situation where it's almost like saying, well, thank you very much for that reading, Till Illumination, and for the encouragement here. But frankly, we don't actually know what's happening here. We don't actually know where this is going, or where it came from, or where it's going to go from here. My feeling here for you, Pisces, that it kind of doesn't matter right now. My feeling is that you're doing such a good job of being you and handling someone who may be struggling in their own ways, and the relationship is enduring anyway. You know, it has the crucible is strong enough in some ways to endure and keep going. And so that puts you in a position of having to expect the unexpected. Okay. Especially with Aquarius season and all that, ruling planet Uranus stuff going on. So in other words, being very, very resigned and very gracious and accepting of the good aspects of the relationship, and then having to admit to yourself, to the other, and if you get any kind of professional guidance, to them, like it's almost like you let's say you do this in private, okay? You're talking to them and say, excuse me, thank you, we needed to talk, thank you so much. And they're going like, okay, so what is the situation? They're like, well, we've got something really, really good. I know we have somewhere somehow, okay? And I can feel it, but I know that they're struggling in some ways. And I love the relationship. I love myself. I'm not sure about them. So it puts me in a very, very awkward position of feeling like I've got this beautiful thing here, the relationship over there. And they go, okay, yeah, I'm listening, I understand. But it puts me in a very, very awkward position of having to view myself, my other part, the other party, and the relationship from a very new perspective that I'm not used to. And it's causing me a very, like, this is confounding me. And then they say, like, well, you've come to the right place. Let's talk about this. Let's have a look. And then you get into it, okay? Because time moves on. Things will change. All of this will change. Come into, whatever it is, Pisces season. We're in Aquarius season right now, as they call it. But by the end of February, we're going to have the sun in Pisces, okay? I'm not going to dwell on this too much over here. You can watch the whole playlist for that, okay? Thank you so much. I'm going to leave it at that. You can do the action replay rewinds, and you can pause the image, and you can pause this and watch it close up if you really want to. I hope that helps you. So there you go. Thank you, Pisces. All the best. All the best. You can do it. Just hang in. This is probably a very, very subtle, very hypersensitive time period for you, but things will pick up once we get into Pisces season. By the way, I just thought of something one last moment regarding the astrodoodles. Please pay attention around February 19th, okay? When the moon is in Virgo, opposing you. Also, please pay attention around the 15th and the 16th when the moon is in Cancer, very harmonious with you. Okay, because during February, the moon is going to be critical into how we feel our way through the month. Okay, thank you so much, Pisces. I'm just going to leave that here for your viewing pleasure. Okay, bye-bye.